Namaskar, everybody. And it's such a pleasure to be in a beautiful place like this, which they call a school. And because a school for us, people who come from Mumbai, is just one building, just standing there with no grounds, no plush lawns, etc. So I always feel people who have schools like these are very, very lucky. Now I am going to be starting with a game for which I will need all of you all to please come forward so that I can start my session. Can you all please come forward? All of you, please. All of you, please, here. Because I can't start my session till you don't come forward. Thank you so much. Just fill up the front seats because it's easier for us to have an engagement if you are all there right in front. And don't worry, I know we've been brainwashed as children that those who sit in the front will be asked questions. Here it's the other way. Those who sit at the back will be asked questions at the end. Please come forward, everybody. Yes, thank you so much, all of you here. And rest assured, I don't bite. At least not before 6 p.m. Please come forward, yeah. Please don't change your mind. Please come forward. Thank you, all of you, please come forward. Thank you so much. Please come, sir. This is so wonderful. Now it looks like a conference where we can actually see the participants and talk to them. Thank you so much for that. I think those 4 already changed their mind and didn't want to come here. Which one of you was the first to get up when I said, please come forward? Do you remember? Because I've got 2 books, which I'm going to give as a gift to them. So yes, you were definitely one of them. Please come forward. This is for you. And yes, that gentleman. This is for you. Thank you so much. See, there's always a gift when you are the first or the second. Okay, it's such a pleasure, as I said. My topic is Manthan. And usually when people see me, they think of early years, which is I'm very happy about. Because somewhere we have forgotten about the early years. Now even the NEP says 85% of the brain develops in the first 5 years. Though before that it was Bonvita who told that to us. And that's why parents started feeding a lot of Bonvita to their children, thinking brain develop hoga. So, the NEP talks about Glocal. It talks about educational theories. And it says you should know all these educational theories. Now I want the truth. How many of you know all of them? Not all of them, right? That should be our aim. Our aim should be that we should know as teachers all educational theories, Indian and global. Somewhere we feel, you know, if you study the IB curriculum or the IB philosophy, you will realize they stress on local. But somewhere, I think IB schools in India have become very misguided and they try to portray it only as international. And that is somewhere we need to take a corrective measure and go back to the IB philosophy, which focuses on the importance of local. And that's why I called it Glocal, where you mix the local and the global. I'm going to take you through a few of these theories because you may be a teacher of any age group. These theories help you. So let's start with the first one, which is Maslow's theory, right? In the IB, our children's families have moved ahead now. You have 2 father families, you have 2 mother families, you have a single mother and a single father family, But we always talk about Father's Day and Mother's Day, and we don't realize there may be that one child in the class who may not have a father. What is that child going to feel when you celebrate Father's Day? Abraham Maslow, if you're going to listen to that theory, sensitivity. Look at this. It's a storybook. And it said originally, I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I was brave instead. What are we teaching children with this? We're not teaching them emotional resilience. We're telling them to bottle up their emotions, and one day anything that's bottled up will break out. And it'll break out negatively. So why can't we change it to I wanted to cry, so I did? I was brave and sad. Why do I have to be brave with my emotions? Why can't I be sad? So when we talk about educational theories, it's not only about knowing them, it's about applying them. We've all heard about Bloom's, yes or no? And Bloom's ties in very well with the inquiry learning cycle. So I don't need to go into this because you all come from an IB background. If you want, my PowerPoint can be given to all the participants. But we must always remember, children have to Maslow before they bloom. So if you don't take care of their needs, you can't grade them, you can't assess them. Carol Dweck talks about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And look at how well her theory connects to the IB curriculum. You have in the IB curriculum your circle. And look at all the points given here and how well they tie in to a growth mindset. And that on the left is what a teacher needs to be trained on, any class that she's taking. That how can I have a growth mindset when I look at children? And only then will I be able to look after the needs and bring out the best in every child. I'm a little against what people say that how will we teach children to face the future? When I was in kindergarten, there were no computers. There was no AI. How did my teacher prepare me? I am surviving in the world of computers and AI. How? Because what I was taught in education was resilience, the ability to grow in spite of obstacles or change. And that should be part of the curriculum, and it is in the IB curriculum. So it's not about your subjects. It's about your theories, your educational theories, and how you implement them. Developmentally appropriate practice, a very important term called DAP. Whatever we are teaching children, is it developmentally appropriate? The IB curriculum has it. It's given in its philosophy. But are we practicing it is the question. Let's go to a simple thing like choosing toys. We all know about Montessori. Yes, we all use Montessori toys. Now look at this. On the left is the original Montessori. On the right is what is available in the market today. And it says it looks more colorful. It looks more beautiful. So what do you think schools are going to buy? This one. But Montessori would turn in her grave. Because there was a specific reason why she didn't give this particular didactic equipment colors. Because each of this equipment teaches about depth, width, length, size. Now when I give it colors, children will start segregating it with colors and will not go into the deeper mathematical concepts that this teaches. So it's very, very important for us to understand developmentally appropriate curriculum. Development is not just about children's development, it's about curriculum development also. Our own Rabindranath Tagore, we only think about him as Shanti Niketan, but he had a philosophy which included three: the peripatetic method, the activity method, and the environmental method. Now look at the IB curriculum. It has a combination of these three. You have activity-based learning. You have nature-based learning. The philosophy talks about it. Very well linked. All these is what I've taken out from the IB curriculum on the right. But we are not able to train teachers on it or ourselves on it or tell parents about it. That the wealth of the IB curriculum is in the educational theories on which it is based. Jerome Bruner, not many teachers have even heard about him, but it is Jerome Bruner who came out with the concept of the spiral curriculum and how children learn from concrete to abstract. And it's beautifully in line with your 6 transdisciplinary themes. So when you study this, you will realize how it is linked to that. Vygotsky, Lev Vygotsky, a Russian educator who developed the ZPD, which means the zone of proximal development. Excellent for assessment. And your IB curriculum follows it with guided exhibition and then a student-led exhibition. What is the ZPD? The ZPD is your point A, where a child can do something with guidance, and then point B, where the child doesn't need the guidance anymore. This distance between point A and point B is where the teacher is required. That how do I take the child from point A to point B? Read the NCF, and they have it in the NCF called GRR, Gradual Release of Responsibility. Beautifully given in your IB curriculum. Our report cards. Are children accidents to be reported? Now, why do we have a report card? And that's why the NEP says holistic progress card. Now, what do they mean when they say a holistic progress card? They're talking about cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. We are not assessing those areas. We grade children on literacy, on numeracy, on other things, but we leave out the most important. Remember, I said I'm surviving today because of resilience. And resilience comes from emotional and social development. Very important. This is the new grading given in the NCF. That move away from grades and talk to the parent about where the child is on the learning curve. Is the child a beginner? Is the child progressing? Is the child proficient? Or is the child advanced? Very well given in the NEP. And very well outlined by the IB also. So it's very important for us to understand educational theories from around the world. Italy has given us 2 great educators, Montessori and Reggio Emilia. Please read the poem that Reggio Emilia has called The 100 Languages of Children. It's a very simple poem. It says, children have 100 languages, but we, the culture and society and schools, steal the 99. And then we tell the child that there is only one language. In one language to speak, one language to think, and one language to learn. And the child always says, no, there are 100 languages. And that's the tussle that children are constantly having with us. Voice, choice, agency, ownership. So well linked to the Reggio Emilia concept. But you all have a paper and pen in front of you, right? I want you to do something for me. I want you to quickly draw a house. Please draw a house. Quickly. We're all adults. It shouldn't take us more than 30 seconds to draw a house. Yes, you drew a house? Most of you all have drawn a house. Yes, somebody has taken out a mobile phone and they're drawing on it. Wonderful. Yes? Were you able to draw a house? Was your house something like this? Yes or no? How many of us in this country, and we all draw a house like this? Why? Do we live in a house like this? We don't. But we would always draw a house like this. Now ask a 3-year-old to draw a house. A 3-year-old who has not been corrupted by a... You ask that 3-year-old to draw a house, they draw a better house than you and I. Enter a drawing teacher, and I'm not against them, but we need to focus on changing them too, because for them, the right house is the one with a roof, 2 windows, a door, and a road, and the sun on one corner, and maybe a coconut tree on one side, because it's easy to draw. You'll never find a mango tree, because it's difficult to draw. So it all becomes about ease and not drawing. Study Rudolf Steiner. And you will realize that Rudolf Steiner, when you do that training, they tell you to close your eyes, imagine an elephant, go over the elephant with your finger in your eyes, now draw the elephant. Because the first time when I drew an elephant in the class, it was that shortcut wala. You know, you just go like this, and you draw 4 legs. That's what we've turned children into. And then we want them to be creative. We grade their drawings. Can you imagine that? There wouldn't be a Picasso or a Michelangelo or any of the Indian artists if they had been graded on drawing. Drawing is creativity. Drawing is art. You can't grade me on that. But we grade children in drawing class. Now let's understand. We come back to the Abraham Maslow. We know how it is there in the curriculum. Let's go to Panchakosh. Because the new curriculum, the new Indian curriculum, talks about our traditional Indian education systems. So I'm going to help you understand that was the Indian educational system already having this wealth because we were told that no, everything came from abroad. But look at the Panchakosh and then compare it with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you will realize it's the same. So Panchakosh has Annamaya Kosh, which is your physical layer. Maslow's hierarchy also has physiological needs. You have the Pranamaya Kosh, which is your life force energy, which means your internal development. My internal development, what I feel from inside, my breathing. Very important for us to understand when we are upset or when we are crying, what do people give us usually? They give you a glass of water, right? Why do they give you a glass of water? Has anybody thought about that? Water has oxygen content. And oxygen rejuvenates the brain, and oxygen helps you calm down. That's why you give water to somebody when they are upset, when they are angry, when they are crying, sad, dejected. You then have the Manamaya Kosh, which is the emotional development. Then you have the Vijnanamaya Kosh, which is your cognitive development. And then you have your Anandamaya Kosh, which means you start enjoying what you are learning. Now look at Maslow's. Physiological needs, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and then comes self-actualization. So you can't teach in a class till you don't have my physical, my emotional needs completely taken care of. So when teachers struggle with children in the class, he's not listening, she's not behaving, she's not sitting, it's always a need that has not been met, and you are trying to pour knowledge where a need has not been met. Both of them talk about the same thing. They say, look at the basic needs first, take care of them, and then your higher level needs will be taken. I want you all to show me your hand like this. This thumb is your amygdala. It's that part of your brain which is called the emotional brain. It is supposed to be here. Please fold it. And now fold your fingers above it. This is your thinking brain, the executive brain. So your emotions need to be in control for the thinking brain to function. This is called flipping your lid. So if children's emotions are like this, they will have only 3 responses to you: fight, flight, and freeze. So fight means they'll talk back, they won't listen to you, they won't sit in their place. Flight means they want to run away from the situation. They cry, I'm not feeling well. And freeze, they know the answer, but they are not able to give you that answer. Because their brain is like this. What do you need to do? This will bring this in. So always remember this. Don't flip your lid, and children won't flip theirs. And you can use each one of them to design a curriculum. I've taken a very basic level idea of shapes, how shapes can be taught through Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manamaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh, and Anandamaya Kosh. And it's all linked to the IB curriculum. So when we talk about the NEP, IB should be the one celebrating because it's completely in sync with the NEP. Now you all have the unit of inquiry. You all know about the unit of inquiry, right? Now let's talk about the Panchadi given in the NEP again. Panchadi is the 5 steps of learning. It starts with Aditi, Bodh, Abhyas, Prayog, Prasar. And now let's look at Bloom's taxonomy and Panchadi. So here is a connection between Bloom's, Panchadi, and the IB inquiry cycle. That's the level at which teachers need to understand what they are using in the classroom. Because a parent doesn't know or understand 6 transdisciplinary themes or the inquiry cycle. They have no clue. They have all studied in the SSC board where it was chalk, talk, and teacher on the stage. That's it. So for them to understand these concepts, you will have to dive deep into the relation with theories and at the very basic level, explain it to parents. Look at how Bloom's taxonomy links to Panchadi. So beautifully it links. And Panchadi and Panchakosh are our Indian traditional education systems. So I don't have proof whether Maslow and Bloom were inspired by them. What are the similarities? Both begin on understanding, both propose that the second one is very important, different level of thinking that can be engaged in. Remember, we have a class that child spoke about different learners in a classroom. And each learner is at a different level of learning. How do you cater to them? And that's what the Panchadi talks about beautifully. Please read the NCF 2022 and the NCF 2023. NCF 2022 is 360 pages. NCF 2023 is more than 500 pages. So you will balk at the idea of reading them. So what we have done is we've created an A to Z. So just 26 points for you to understand from the NCF 2022 and 2023. At the end of my PowerPoint, there will be a website. You can go there and you can download the A to Z, easier to use. Now look at the Panchadi and the IB learning cycle. Completely in sync. So you don't have to work differently to implement the NEP. It's already there. You just have to make the connection and the understanding. Again, I've just taken a basic idea of shapes and how Panchadi can be used. You're already doing it with the inquiry learning cycle. I am called controversies child because I love to rake up controversies in education. And one of the things that I am totally against is the red and blue lines. I would like to know from y'all who invented them. Do you all wear brands? Any branded watch, branded clothes? Yeah, you like to, whatever is your brand. It can be Titan, it can be Timex, it can be Guess, whatever. Why do you take a brand? You take a brand because you are sure about its quality, right? You're sure that you're going to like the design. So you know who has made it. So my question to you as educators, we must question who made this? Because it's being followed in our country since ages. And it's just been taken as, we have to do this. Now I'm going to show you something, how children struggle with writing when they move from the red and blue lines to the single line. Let's look at this. Please look at the G, capital G and small g on the red and blue line, and look at it on the single line. So what happens when they transit? Look at the capital G. It uses the top 3 lines. Look at the small g. It uses the bottom 3 lines. Now you are transferring me from there to here. Where do I write? Because you made 2 lines disappear. So they write things hanging in the middle. And it's the primary teachers who go through this torture. Because children are transiting from red and blue lines to the single lines, and nobody told them why those 2 lines disappeared. Now there is a new concept globally. You are all IB schools. Globally, the 3-line concept is used. Look at the 3 lines. There is a dotted line at the center, and children are taught that all the small letters go below the dotted lines, and the size is the same as the single line. So which means, what disappears? Only the dotted line. It's like those trainer wheels that you put in a bicycle. It's like that. Isn't it easier? Why are we stuck on red and blue lines? How many of your schools have red and blue lines? How do you call yourself an IB school? IB is about thinking forward. IB is about thinking logically. So please, call me what you want. Call me why was she called for that keynote. How dare she judge us? Call me what you want, but please think about this. I've given you proof that what you are doing to children at a very tender age is confusing them. And that's why we are bringing up a generation of children who hate writing. And please tell me, how many of you still write more than type? You write more and you type less. See how many people. Can you see? They are the endangered species. Yeah? But we are very, very particular about the handwriting of children. Very particular. I think it was Nirja from Goenka who shared with me a wonderful example when we were in the flight together. And she said, I entered a pre-primary classroom and the teacher was telling the children to write number 5 on those square line books. And there was this child who knew the formation of 5, but he wasn't writing in the box. So the teacher was very upset with the child and wanted the child to learn how to write in the box. Nirja's question was, what is your goal? So the teacher said the goal is that the child should know how to write number 5. So isn't he writing number 5? And then you want these children to think out of the box. Why? Why? This is the AI generation. Let me show you something. This is what we want them to do. This is what teachers should be doing. When you go from a conference, you are going with a lot of data. You need to now link it to information. That how does that data make me feel, or how can I use it? You then convert it into knowledge. You then go into an insight. Can I use this knowledge here or can I not use this knowledge here? And when you do that, you have wisdom and you are called a true guru. Before that, you were just a teacher. And look at that. The survival state, the emotional state, and the executive state. This. Remember I taught you this? I will not be able to convert that data into impact and wisdom if you don't take care of my emotional needs. If I were to scare you before the session, you wouldn't take back anything from this session. Very important. It's very important for us to understand that Magda Gerber, I am a huge fan of her work, And a lot of parents around the world use her work. Magda Gerber talks about the traffic light syndrome, which is the red, green, and orange. And she said, don't interfere in children's behavior unless it is a red light. So if it is a green behavior, you see two children playing and, boxing with each other, and they're just playing, you know that it's just fun. Don't interfere. Orange is when you feel, I need to be near because this may go out of hand. So you're there, but you're not interfering. And red is, you see it, you know this is going to go out of hand, you interfere immediately. And that is an understanding even where curriculum implementation is concerned, that we should all understand. Thank you so much, A, for inviting me. Thank you so much, B, for coming forward. And thank you so much, C, for clapping, because it's very good acupressure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us a brief perspective into the future of education. We would request you, ma'am, to kindly be on stage and accept our token of gratitude.